you for being here. I know obviously we have the Bresco family here, Kelly and Abby and Annie and Casey. Now, are your parents up? Are they watching this?
Hopefully, ma'am, they've mastered technology and we've got them on Facebook Live.
Okay, so we've got Pauline and Steve, and then is your brother Chris up?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel Chris Bresco
yes,
watching this as well. So look, I would tell you, I first met Matt a couple years ago when we were both in the 82nd. We crossed paths there, and it was for a brief period of time. But I would tell you, it only takes a brief period of time. You know, it takes a couple minutes to figure out that this officer is just incredibly competent. That's the first thing that hits you, just how incredibly competent he is. And so when I found out I was coming to 10th Mountain Division and he was already here as a Sustainment Brigade commander, I was really happy, because as the S, I work very, very closely with the Sustainment Brigade commander. So I was thrilled that Colonel Bresco was the guy I was going to be working with. You can relax a little bit, might be just a little bit. So after a year working with him, still extraordinarily competent, no doubt. But what really hits you, I think, with Matt is his leadership. And that's what shines through after a year, I guess a year plus of working with him now. It's really his leadership that shines through. And that's not a given. I mean, we talk about it all the time, but that's really not a given, especially as you get more senior, because these units that you end up commanding and working in become, they're more complex. They're larger, they're more complex. You're not the subject matter expert anymore as much as you would like to be. You're not, although you clearly are in many ways, Matt, but it's hard to be the subject matter expert anymore. It's hard to know everybody in your formation. It's hard to lead. The larger the organization is, the more the more folks you get, the more strategic the mission, the tougher it is really to lead. And so, but this officer has really managed to tackle that sort of head on, and has just provided extraordinary leadership that again shines through every single day. I mean, you still have remained a subject matter expert in just about every area, Matt. You know your soldiers, they clearly know you, and you have kept this brigade trained and ready, and they've deployed all over the world, and it's just really a testament to your leadership, and it's just been phenomenal to watch you. And he is the senior logistician for this division, and I bet you right now, if I ask Matt, how many gallons of fuel will it take to move this division from Fort Drum, New York to California? I don't know. He'd probably be able to calculate that, figure it out, at the drop of a hat. But somehow he cannot translate this to how much fuel it will take to go on a motorcycle ride around, within the 60-mile radius of Fort Drum. Not just, so some people know about this apparently, not just once, but twice. He's had to call for emergency resupply, call Kelly, to get emergency resupply to get his way back home. So,
but my systems are in place for that emergency resupply.
Senior logistician. And I've also, I'm not sure if I don't think you told me this actually, but you spent so much time in all the various mountain peaks that you've been involved with. And this last one, you had to get towed on the last day of Mountain Peak. Your Humvee had to get towed out of Mountain Peak. So did you get stuck? Did it break down?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure, but senior logistician has to get his vehicle towed out of Mountain Peak, and from what I understand, it was kind of a rough go for all the vehicles in the headquarters during your tenure there, Matt. And then training. We need some retraining. And lastly, while this one here, I see her effortlessly skating around the neighborhood on Matt's skateboards, somehow you have not been able to master that mode of transportation. Because the last time Colonel Bresco tried to do that, he ended up executing, I think, a PLF, parachute landing fall, and yeah, so there we go. So again, senior logistician. But truly, you are an extraordinary commander, Matt. You really are. It's been inspiring to watch you lead, and not just for the Sustainment Brigade itself, but really across the division. And I'd be hard pressed to find someone who's had as much positive impact across the width and breadth of division as this individual has. I mean, you're an incredible coach, teacher, mentor. I am sure if I asked, every BSB commander certainly that you've interacted with, the battalion commanders and brigade commanders, I'm sure all the XOs, everybody that you've interacted with, the soldiers across the enterprise, they would all say that they benefited from your mentorship. And I know General Anderson, my predecessor, and certainly I already told you I was thrilled to find out that I'd be working with you. And so I want to personally thank you for that as well. It's just been incredible. So with that, let's go ahead and publish your orders.
Attention orders. This is to certify that the Secretary of the Army has awarded the Meritorious Public Service Medal to Mrs. Kelly Bresco for outstanding service while serving as a senior leader Family Readiness Group Advisor, and volunteer. Mrs. Bresco's contributions and service to the soldiers, leaders of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade directly affected the morale of the unit. Her actions are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon herself, the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade, the 10th Mountain Division, and the United States Army. Signed, Brian J. Minnis, Major General, United States Army, Commanding.
Let me talk about Kelly really quick then. So we got ahead of ourselves a little bit. So I have to spend some time thanking you, Kelly, for everything that you did. And this really has been a team effort. But I'm not sure I've met someone who has really cared so much about the soldiers, and not just in this brigade, but across the division. And you've been willing to expend your energy and expend your time to take care of each and every one of us, myself included, to take care of all the stray soldiers across the division, not just in the Sustainment Brigade. I mean, but hours, countless hours volunteering, every single welcome home ceremony. Kelly made huge home cooked meals, huge Thanksgiving dinners, just in case someone needed a place to go over Thanksgiving. I mean, she just spent an extraordinary amount of time taking care of people, and it's been an extraordinary example, I think, for all of us in the way that she, just the way that she reaches out and truly, genuinely cares for everybody around her. So. And I've told you also, you successfully completed the Baton Memorial Death March in your past. That's super impressive, and I already talked about her skateboarding skills. So I'm incredibly impressed with this one. So we'll go ahead and Kelly's first here. Okay, do you have, yeah.
Attention to orders. To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by an act of Congress, 20 July 1942, has awarded the Legion of Merit to Colonel Matthew S. Bresco, 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade, 10th Mountain Division, for exceptionally meritorious service as the brigade commander for the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade, 10th Mountain Division. Colonel Bresco's outstanding leadership, dedication, selfless service, and unparalleled commitment to mission accomplishment were integral to the unit's success. His professionalism is in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflects great distinction upon himself, the 10th Mountain Division, the 18th Airborne Corps, and the United States Army. Signed, Michael E. Carilla, Lieutenant General, United States Army, Commanding.
Ma'am, thank you so very much for the words. I think I'll speak for Kelly and I, because I know we've got things to do. These represent the efforts of this brigade, the soldiers, the leaders, and the families. Every time that we look at these going forward, we will think of you and everything that you mean to us. So on behalf of Kelly and I, thank you so very, very much for everything. We love you. Ma'am, thank you.
Today, Colonel Matthew S. Bresco relinquishes command of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade to Colonel Aaron C. Miller. Among our distinguished guests for today's ceremony are Brigadier General and Mrs. Brett Funk, Acting Senior Commander, Brigadier General Michelle A. Schmidt, Division Deputy Commanding General for Support, Mrs. Kelly Minnis, and Command Sergeant Major Mario O. Taranis, Division Command Sergeant Major. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Colonel Bresco's wife, Mrs. Kelly Bresco, and his daughters, Abby, Annie, and Casey, are being presented red roses, thanking them for their support and devotion to the soldiers and families of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade. Red roses signify the bonds of loyalty and affection between the soldiers and families, and signify our sorrow at their departure from the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade. They will be remembered and missed. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the invocation given by 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade Chaplain, Chaplain Jim Park.
Please join me in prayer according to your faith tradition. Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father God, today we recognize the passing of the command to care for the soldiers and the families in the 10th Sustainment Brigade from Colonel Bresco to Colonel Miller. Lord, we thank you for Colonel Bresco and his committed and faithful service. Thank you for the positive impact he has had on the soldiers and the mission of the 10th Sustainment Brigade. I pray that you will continue to be with him and bless his family as they move on to the next chapter of their lives. I also pray that you will be with incoming Commander Colonel Miller as she takes on this challenge. Provide for her everything that she needs to serve with faithfulness, courage, and integrity as she continues to keep the great legacy of the 10th Sustainment Brigade. Help us to contribute to the proud legacy and protection provided by our brothers and sisters in arms, and those who also proudly serve beside us in 10th Sustainment Brigade overseas here at home. We ask for your continued blessing upon the soldiers and their families. Lord, unite our hearts and mind to establish greater team and community of God and country. In your precious holy name we pray. Amen.
In front of you today are the brigade colors and battalion colors of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade. Represented from left to right, they are Headquarters and Special Troops Battalion, Workhorse, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Oquendo. The 548 Combat Sustainment Support Battalion, Sword, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Jason Schultz. The commander of troops for today's change of command ceremony is Command Sergeant Major Roy L. Young. The official party for today's ceremony is Brigadier General Michelle A. Schmidt, Deputy Commanding General for Support of the 10th Mountain Division, Colonel Matthew S. Bresco, 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade Outgoing Commander, and Colonel Aaron C. Miller, 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade Incoming Commander. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Key to the change of command is the passing of the unit's colors. These colors represent not only the heritage and history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. Since the early days of warfare, colors have served as the talisman of unit identity. The flag was symbolic. It helped units develop a sense of pride in esprit de corps, as well as serving the more practical purpose of making the location of the commander and providing a rally point for soldiers during the smoke and chaos of battle. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his or her responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, so are the colors. The custodian of the colors is the command sergeant major, as the senior enlisted soldier in the unit and principal advisor to the commander. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of command responsibility and authority. The ceremony begins as Command Sergeant Major Young passes the colors to Colonel Bresco for the last time. Colonel Bresco will then pass the colors to Brigadier General Schmidt, thereby relinquishing his responsibility and authority. Brigadier General Schmidt will then pass the colors to Colonel Miller, charging the new commander with the same responsibilities and authority. Effective 03 June 2020, by authority of paragraph 2-5, Army Regulation 600-20, the undersigned assumes command of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade. Signed, Aaron C. Miller, Colonel, Logistics, Commanding.
About face.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Commanding General for Support, the 10th Mountain Division, Brigadier General Michelle A. Schmidt.
Okay, again, welcome everybody. You guys can hear me, right? Okay. All right, good. Thanks for attending. I know General Menace would absolutely be here if he weren't deployed right now in Afghanistan. I'm sure he'll watch this later. But Kelly Menace, thank you for being here this morning with us. And to all the family and friends who are here with us today, thanks for being here. I do want to, again, extend a special welcome to Matt's family. I won't go through all the names again, but thanks for being here. I do want to go through the names for Aaron's family. So we've got Aaron's mother, Ann, from just outside of Buffalo, virtually chiming in, right? Virtually attending. And then Aaron's brothers, we have Nathan. Is he from Taiwan? He's in Taiwan right now because he is a scout for the Kansas City Royals, which is really cool. And I kind of want that job, actually, maybe after this job. And then we have brother Ryan, who's closer to home outside of Lake Placid. He works in the Adirondacks, another job, which would be kind of neat to do. So thank you all the friends and family who are here physically present with us and those joining us virtually. Thanks for being here today. Before I get started, how about a round of applause for that version of our national anthem, that rendition of our national anthem. Okay, look, for all of you, this is a big deal in our Army. These changes of command are important, whether in front of a large formation of soldiers or something, a smaller venue like what we have here today. And it's a formal tradition to recognize the change in leadership between an outgoing and an incoming commander. And because both Matt and Aaron are extremely humble, they will tell you this is much more about the brigade than it is about them. And they're right. It is. It is absolutely much more about the unit than it is about them. But it's kind of hard to overstate the important role that a commander plays. The commander sets the tone and provides focus and clarity, prioritizes the efforts of the unit, and leads from the front, of course. The commander takes care of his or her soldiers, putting their needs first. The commander is ultimately responsible for making sure his or her unit is trained and ready to deploy and fight and win in support of our nation. It's hard to find another profession that requires so much from a leader. And this unit, the Sustainment Brigade, requires the best leaders that we have. This organization is incredibly complex, with 99 different MOSs or military occupational specialties, 13 unique companies, and it's truly a global organization. This organization is deployed separately from the division now, as deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, of course, but other places like South Korea, Poland, Latvia, Germany, Greece, Romania, and Kuwait, and I'm sure I'm missing some in there. And then they just recently deployed in support of our own COVID efforts here in the States to New York and New Jersey and New England. And of course, a good portion are heading off to Afghanistan soon. Some have already left and are probably already there. At the same time, the Sustainment Brigade supports every single unit in this division, from warfighters to mountain peak exercises, to JRTC rotations, to brigade and battalion and company internal training events. The Sustainment Brigade does not rest. They are always on. It doesn't matter what other cycle, what cycle the other units are on, this brigade is always on. But despite this high op tempo, the Sustainment Brigade managed to accomplish every assigned mission and then some without missing a beat. We, this division, could not do what we do without the Sustainment Brigade. But the Sustainment Brigade has to do so much more than support this division. Their ability to do this is a true testament to the professionalism and competence of leaders at every echelon throughout this organization. From the officers and the NCOs and the soldiers who are experts at their trade, it's just been really incredible to watch. They are very, very impressive. And their success is a direct reflection of their leadership at the top. I just spoke a little bit about Colonel Bresco earlier, but his leadership has been absolutely incredible. And Matt, your ability to lead this extremely complex organization it's just inspirational. You have an uncanny ability to bring out the best in those around you. You know your soldiers, and they clearly know you, and they respect the heck out of you. And that's really pretty high praise. You are calm, cool, and collected. You clearly very genuinely care about your soldiers. Thanks for all that you and Kelly did, not just for the Sustainment Brigade, but for the entire 10th Mountain Division, and really for our Army over all of these years. You will be missed, but your impact is going to last here a really long time. Now, General Menace reached out to me, and he wanted to pass on some words to you as well. He wishes he were here, of course. He specifically wanted to express his gratitude to the soldiers and leaders of this organization, those who do the heavy lifting humbly and professionally, accomplishing all missions, often without much praise or even acknowledgement. This brigade, of course, burned it down every day, trying to improve the team while caring and inspiring their soldiers to grow as professionals and people of honor. And he goes on to say that Matt and Kelly are amazing people. Kelly and I, from gentlemen. Kelly and I are fortunate to have served with you. Matt is a caring leader who demonstrated complete competence in all endeavors. He is a mature and level-headed officer who I would entrust to lead my children. There are no better logisticians in our Army, and we have benefited from his passion to improve everything he touches. And then about you, Kelly. Kelly has been an awesome teammate and volunteer. Thank you for your service to our families and this community. You are a role model for us all, and we wish you the best. So again, thank you to Matt and Kelly for everything that you've done over the past 2 years. It's really just been extraordinary. So on to Colonel Miller. Aaron, welcome back to the 10th Mountain Division. Aaron has served here before, no stranger to Fort Drum. We're extremely lucky to have you. We're happy that you're here. I know you're going to build on the successes already achieved by this great brigade, and you're going to make them even better. You have the experience and leadership that this brigade deserves. My apologies that we're sending you right off to Afghanistan again. If you didn't know, she was just there right before school. She spent a year in Afghanistan. Now we're sending her right back. But because of that and because of everything that she's done in her career, I can tell you she's the right officer. No one is more experienced. I mean, no one. When I look at your record and I talk to people who have worked with you, I mean, you come here very, very highly recommended and very highly respected. So I know that you're the right officer to take this unit downrange, accomplish what's sure to be a very challenging mission, and yet bring every single one of these soldiers back home safely. Best of luck to you. General Menace also wrote about you and is very excited to have you on the team, and he knows you will lead this organization to new heights. He looks forward to you joining him in Afghanistan and watching you get after it with your team. So congratulations to you both. Thanks very much. Climb to glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade, Colonel Matthew S. Bresco.
Distinguished guests, friends, family of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade, thank you so much for being here. Real quick, if we could also recognize the band, guys, thanks so much. It is not a military ceremony if you're not here, so thank you very much. Additionally, these service ceremonies, even small and intimate like this one, don't just happen, so there are folks behind the scenes who've been working tirelessly to make this a great ceremony. So for you, again, my thanks. Just a couple quick thanks to my commanding generals, General Pyatt and General Menace. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for the privilege to command and your trust. To my deputy commanding generals for support, Brigadier General Mike Anderson and Brigadier General Michelle Schmidt, thank you so very, very much. Not only did you allow me the opportunity to command, but you also allowed me to advise, and a role that I took very seriously and hope I didn't let you down. To my command sergeants major, Octavia Edgenim and Roy L. Young, model non-commissioned officers, exactly what every soldier should aspire to, a teammate and a friend, and I thank you. To the officers, NCOs, soldiers, and families of this brigade, the true heroes, my thanks will never be enough, but I am proud of you, and I am proud to be a member of the history of this brigade. General Schmidt mentioned it briefly. In the past 2 years, support of Indo-PACOM, NORTHCOM, AFRICOM, EUCOM, and CENTCOM, while also continuing to support the division here at home. You did it quietly, you did it professionally, you did it with honor. I am honored to walk among you. To the North Country community, teammates, fellow brigade commanders, command teams, thank you so much for your friendship and your mentorship over these past 2 years. To my family, my mom and my dad, who again, hopefully we've managed to wrestle the technology, thank you for the values and the work ethic you instilled in me. To my siblings, my brother Chris, thanks. To my girls, words won't do. Aaron Miller, you are the right officer. I wish you the very best of luck, safe travels, and Godspeed. Supporting the climb to glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 10th Mountain Division Sustainment Brigade, Colonel Aaron C. Miller.
Well, I'd just like to first start with thanks to the weather gods and the chaplain, because we got some great North Country weather to make sure we could do this outside today. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, both here and attending virtually, thank you for joining us today. It's pretty awesome. It's a great day to be in the North Country. First, I'd like to thank General Carrillo and General Menace for the opportunity to command such a storied brigade. It's truly an honor and a privilege that I don't take lightly, and it's great to be back. To Matt and Kelly, thank you for the warm welcome back to the North Country and a great transition. You guys are a tough act to follow and a great Army team. To my friends and family out on the internet, from Boston to California, everywhere in between and across the globe, thank you for shaping me into the person that I am and the leader that I am today. A special shout out to my mom, who once again is on duty with the fur kids over the next several months. I appreciate it more than you would ever know. Finally, and most importantly, to the soldiers, non-commissioned officers, warrant officers, and family members of the Mule Skinner team. I am humbled and excited to join your ranks today and to serve alongside you as we exploit the opportunities and tackle the challenges that lie ahead. Supporting the climb to glory.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the 10th Mountain Division song and the Army song. The words to these songs can be found on the back of your program.
Ma'am, this concludes the ceremony. Climb to glory.